Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Joshi weekly episode here on the YouTube channel. This time around, we are talking the two big time Korakuen Hall shows from this past week. First up, the Sendai Girls 10th anniversary show for Chihiro Hashimoto, and then the Marigold Korakuen from this past Monday. Yes, thank you everyone for joining me. I am back from vacation and I am ready to go. I have watched through all the shows, I've done all I can to get ready for this review. We're not going to talk every single match on each show, but we are going to talk the biggest and best and most important, as well as any news that came from either one of them. So thank you everyone for joining me. I am, of course, Scott E, your host as always, and I am excited to be back and recording. Hopefully, while I was gone, you took the time to check out the videos we have put up over the past week. If you are a YouTube channel subscriber, you may not have even noticed I was gone because I made sure to have content going even while I was away. I took a full, almost week break from wrestling as a whole. No social media, nothing. And I just enjoyed my time away. But you start to get that itch, like, oh man, I kind of can't wait to get back. I can't wait to get on the microphone. I can't wait to talk wrestling and watch wrestling and all of that. I watched one singular match in real time over the past week. Otherwise, anything's been catch up since I got back. But that's why I'm so excited to do this review with all of you. So hopefully you are ready for that as well. Hopefully you enjoy this review as well, because I know I'm looking forward to it. But before we get to that, let me ask you, go check out the videos that have come out over the past week, including our dropping from this past Friday, the first ever Joshi showcase, which was looking at the career of Chihiro Hashimoto ahead of her anniversary match with Sareee this past Sunday, which we'll be reviewing here today. Really love doing that review with Xavier, or should I say, series starter, series debut, the pilot of Joshi Showcase with Xavier. It was a lot of fun, one of my favorites so far on the channel, as well as a look at the second anniversary of Marigold's future ace, Victoria Zuki. This dropped this past Monday on her anniversary, talking her first 2 years in the business. So hopefully you have checked that out. The Future of Joshi series continues. We're hopefully going to have one sooner rather than later, talking about the rest of the scene. But I thought this was a perfect way to dive in to her first 2 years. So thank you, everyone. And with that, let's get underway. Let's get to our scheduled programming here today. Like I said, we're not going to review every single match from the show, but we are going to talk the most important matches and everything that comes with those matches. So, with that being said, let's get to it, because I'm still catching up on a lot of things. I still am getting caught up on Stardom Tag League. I'm still just getting caught up on news as a whole. I learned that Saya Kamatani wrestled on the House of Torture show. That's pretty crazy. I wrestled it was against Yujiro Takahashi. Haven't got to check it out. Will be checking it out, but I'm very behind. But I wanted to get this video out, especially with these two big shows. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. We have plenty of content coming out. Probably won't have another video until sometime next week, for those wondering, but we will have one up soon enough. Hopefully, this Joshi Weekly does the job for all of you. So, with that being said, now let's get to our regularly scheduled programming. That, of course, is doing the double review here, starting with the Sendai Girls show, a sold out Korakuen Hall live on Wrestle Universe for those who may have not checked it out. An exciting show from top to bottom. But the first match we are talking about here today is none other than the match between Senka Akatsuki and Spike Nishimura, the rookie final of the rookie tournament that had been going on. You have Senka, you have Spike, a big time match, especially for someone like Senka, who has obviously had a very impressive first year in her career. She just celebrated her first anniversary last month. Now she steps into the ring with Spike Nishimura in a match that I thought nailed what they were going for. Ultimately, when it comes to a match between two wrestlers that have never shared the ring, let alone two wrestlers who are still so young in their development, still so new in their development. I think it's always fascinating to see how things go. And what this match brought to the table in my eyes was plenty of excitement in terms of the back and forth, but it was never really a question of who was going to win to me. I always saw this as Sanka's win and a win that Sanka ultimately kind of needed. You know, she had kinda walked through others on her way here, right? She faced Yuna, the Sendai Girls Junior champion, in this tournament and pinned her. Sure, you could have had that be enough to set up a championship match between the two, but I thought going all the way with someone like a Sanka was a smart decision by all parties involved. Yes, while Spike is someone who I do think is gonna develop into a very good wrestler, Sanka's the one with so much hype, so much excitement, and that way you put her in the ring with Yuna again with a championship on the line, there'll be even more eyes on that. So overall, I think the decision making was good here in terms of who was going to win, who was walking out with the win, and that of course ended up being Senka Akatsuki. So congratulations to her. Spike had a good tournament. I think the rookie tournament as a whole was a success. It involved wrestlers from Stardom, from Marigold, from Marvelous, from Sendai, the entire scene. And that's always so important and an accomplishment in itself, and proves that Sendai Girls should have all eyes on it if it doesn't already, because it seems to be the only promotion where we're seeing so much crossover and some crossover that even seems impossible at times. So this was a success once again. I hope we keep running it year after year after year. We got to highlight the youth of the scene, and that's what this tournament does. So a good win for Sanka, and a deserving one at that. You know, last year was Chi Chi, this year's Sanka. Very fitting winners, I think, back to back years, considering the pools and who was involved. We then had Natsupoi and Aya Sakura versus Bobo Bobo Momo Banana. Shockingly, not really that shockingly, uh, unsurprisingly, this match was really good. Unsurprisingly, this match was a ton of fun. Natsupoi and Mia Momono, getting to watch them share the ring, getting to watch them have their time in the ring was really all I could have asked for. When this match was announced, that's kind of what you'd circle, right? You look at the lineup and say, "Oh, that seems good. That seems like the direction we should be going in." And they had instant chemistry. There was instant chemistry there, instant excitement there of what this could be if they were to ever have a singles match. Now, do I expect them to have a singles match anytime soon? No, not really. I don't really know what to expect from Mia Momono these days. You know, she's kind of quieted down since her return. Obviously, the idea of a match with Mayu Utani had been tossed out there. Hasn't happened yet. Um Momo Banana's not doing too much. They even lost here. Ultimately, in the end, they lost to Natsupoi and Aya Sakura, which is a tough hit. You know, Natsupoi pinning Yurika Oka is never a bad thing, but considering they're one of the main tag teams of Sendai Girls, and I don't see Natsupoi and Aya Sakura teaming up to face them anytime soon, to face for the tag belts, it's tough. You know, it's really tough. Um, so I don't really know what's going on there, but I was happy to see her have a moment in this match with Natsupoi. I thought Aya Sakura and Yuki Oka both played their roles incredibly well, as they often do. Oka is one of the most underrated in Joshi. Aya Sakura is one of the most exciting, I think, when it comes to the newer wrestlers, the junior wrestlers, right? She's still a junior wrestler in her skills, but um I think this is a match that also kind of highlights to me the best of Sendai Girls in terms of like, why do people really love this promotion? What makes people enjoy this so much? And I think it's a match like this. It's a tag that you're not going to see really anywhere else, that involves multiple different promotions, you know, Marvelous, Stardom, and Sendai Girls all involved in this match, and you're just going to get entertained from it. You're going to watch a really good match. That is what Sendai does best, is these types of tags. So this was quite good. Hopefully 2026 is a better year though for Bobo Bobo Momo Banana. We then had Maria versus Dash Sasako, kind of a random match tossed on this card in terms of a singles. I think there was good and bad to this match. You know, the usual moments that we saw a lot of, for example, in the Marigold Dream Star tournament, Maria kind of not really caring all too much, playing her heel character in a way that I don't think any of us necessarily expected. I didn't really, because the thing with Maria is I think she can be a great heel. Um, like, I think the way she wrestles is there, but it's the character and the lack of care that I think more often than not takes away from her matches. And while I think Dash is phenomenal, anytime I can get a normal singles Dash match, I am welcoming it. And I think that really brought the match up after kind of a nothing first half was that these two then just went. These two are very capable, very talented wrestlers. So it ultimately ended up being a good match, but I think it could have been so much better if we stay away from the little heel tactics and the mirror thing and just kind of what has been part of the magenta combo for so long now since they've turned heel. But overall, I do think it was a good match. There's not one of the difficult things I think when reviewing a Sendai Girls show is like there's rarely takeaways from it. Like, we're not going to a next point, right, between these 2. It's just a match, and that's the ups and downs of reviewing and watching this promotion. While they put some terrific cards together, and we'll talk a little bit about their upcoming weekend, because I do think they have a massively exciting weekend. Um, I do think there is a lack of determination in their cards at times, and that can be a tough thing. Great matches are great matches, and that's why I really like Sendai Girls, but direction also goes a long way. I like to see Dash challenge Hashimoto at the end of the show or something of the sorts. We don't get that. We don't get that. Those 2 kinda happen to stay away from each other in big singles matches, I've noticed, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get to the semi-main, and in many ways kind of served as part of Miko Wada's 10th anniversary. Her 10th anniversary show match, whatever you may call it, is on the 22nd. So this coming Saturday, she will have hers, which looks like a very good show. But it was her and Miyuki Tagase, of course, Red Energy, taking on the dynamic duo of Takumi Iroha and Veni. I watched Takumi Iroha, I watched Veni. I think to myself, man, they're awesome. And a lot of this match was them being awesome, but I thought Awada and Takase were good. Awada and Veni have really good um, chemistry that I'm still kind of upset they didn't get to showcase in that, uh, you know, title match because it went from Veni to Millie McKenzie to Miko Wada. I think their chemistry does speak for itself. But Veni ends up being the one to pin Wada here, which I guess isn't too much of a shock after hitting the moonsault. This was probably my third favorite match on the show overall, following the Natsupoi and Mai Sakurai Banana tag. And I think again, this kind of speaks to what I've been saying. They make really good matches in Sendai Girls, and that gets me far along enough that I don't have to worry necessarily about I don't have to worry about too much. Like, in many ways, I think a lot of people, when they should watch wrestling, is have a promotion that you just kinda watch, just to enjoy. You don't have to overly critique, you don't have to do that, and I think for many Sendai Girls is that, and rightfully so, because the wrestling's good. Wrestling's always good, if not very good, if not great. And like I said, you don't have to put too much thinking into it. Like a match like this, you just see the card, right? You see this match card that's up here, and you're like, "Yep, hell yeah, I'm in." Like that. That's sometimes all you need. So while I do have my critiques and such, I have a match like this, and I'm like, "Yeah, no, that was cool. I'm cool. We can move on." And that's kind of what this weekend looks like for them. There are some very exciting matches, but we do have a big title match that I'm looking forward to as well, which we'll talk about. But speaking of title matches, it was Sareee versus Chihiro Hashimoto for the Sendai Girls World Championship, made official at the start of the show. There's a reason we did the Chihiro Hashimoto Joshi showcase. It was one to celebrate Chihiro Hashimoto and her 10th anniversary. Two was in part of this rivalry. If you took the time to watch any of their matches in the lead up to this, it only made this match better because there's a lot of callbacks. There's a lot of history between these two that they have played on so many times in their biggest matches. There is so much between these two to the fact that they can go out there at a sold out Korakuen Hall and have one of the very best matches of the year, not only utilizing their history, but going down a different path than no one expected. This match was sensational. This match This match is the only match I saw while on vacation. I just right time, right place, was able to turn on my laptop and it was on live. It was perfect timing. And when I watch a match like this, I'm just blown away at how anyone doesn't think Joshi wrestling's the best wrestling in the entire universe. This match is what Joshi wrestling for me is all about, and I've said that a few times this year, but they're all different, but also all the same. This match is so different from, say, Mayu versus Io, right? It's so different, but it's also the same. It's matches that only Joshi can bring to the table. Only Joshi can bring, because where those two matches are similar, and they happen to be my top two matches of the year, is that they have their callbacks, they have their moments. And if you don't know their history, if you don't appreciate the history between these two wrestlers, maybe you won't appreciate the matches as much as you can and should. That's not a shot at anyone. But the reason I love both of these matches isn't just the new bits and the new pieces added, but it's the old work that is brought into it. It is the old moments that I watched from 2019 between these two, and it's brought out all the way here in 2025. It's the new additions of Sareee, not Hashimoto, being the aggressor, being the one that is on the attack, and making Hashimoto have to be the one to fight back. This match is pure physicality. This match is pure violence. This match is pure Joshi wrestling. This match, in so many ways, was the perfect showcase, the personification of why Sareee and Chihiro Hashimoto are two of the very best on the entire planet. In other ways, it was a perfect way of saying, this is what Sareee is. This is what Chihiro Hashimoto is. So much of Saree's year has obviously been involved in stardom, but it's when Sareee steps into the ring with someone like Chihiro Hashimoto that you see the very best of her. I think Sareee does such a good job at bringing the best out of others. I really do. It's a skill set that she has that only a few other wrestlers I've seen truly have down to a science. But when she's in there with someone like a Hashimoto that she knows like the back of her hand, that knows her like the back of her hand, and like they know each other so well that they can build their epic, they can build their main event better than anyone. This match is 20 minutes, and it is every bit of greatness that you want from a 20-minute slugfest main event match in professional wrestling. This match is full of unbelievable physicality. Sareee hits one of the most perfect slaps I've ever seen on Hashimoto, to the point where the sound was crisp. The insanity of the smack itself had my jaw drop. And as I sit here and I think back to this match and to the greatness of this match, I say to myself, is this their best match to date? As someone who has sat back and watched their matches from pre Sareee going to WWE to after, right? You look at those Sarees and matches and you watch them build. That first match is a lot of Sareee just trying to find herself, relight that fire, which she does by the end. The second one at Sareeism, was it chapter 3? Yeah, it was chapter 3 where they do the main event. It's about revenge. They have maybe their best to date. Just an unbelievable showcase. And then they have this one. And this one is 2019, 20, 2023, 2024, all wrapped up into a perfect bundle in a match full of craziness. You get your shoot headbutts, you get your all bright suplexes, you get your big time lariats, your uranagis, everything. And I know some people's critiques are talking about the uranagis at the end, but if you've watched them, if you've watched these two, so much of their story and time has been both of them growing, both of them evolving to the point where it's just about putting the other one down. For Sareee, the utilization of the uranagi is one that has famously not always been able to just keep Hash down. And as Hash, who sits here now as the Sendai Girls World Champion, and since the last time these two faced off, has essentially retired Mako Satomura, has essentially, you know, done all these different things, right? Her Hash beat Mako Satomura this year. Mako beat Sareee this year. You know, um, there's so many ups and downs to the story that these two have had since the last time they faced off in January of 2024. To the point where now that I sit here and watch them now, this was how this match had to go. Sareee has learned plenty and done so much this year herself, right? Winning the IWGP Women's title. But it has also come with a lot of failure. She lost the Marigold World Championship, lost the Beyond the Sea Championship, lost the IWGP Championship. And in that, you you see her come out guns a-blazing in a match against her best rival in a match that she destroys her in some ways. But in the end, she has to keep going to the Uranagi and keep going and keep going, and she still gets caught in the end by an Albright and loses. This match is sensational. This match is the perfect showing of Joshi wrestling at its best. This match is the cherry on top to what I truly think is the number 2 best rivalry in Joshi wrestling from the 2010s and on. You know, everyone kinda just starts with Mayu and Io, and I think that's the right way to go, right, since 2010, and it's like, what's second? What is the second best feud in terms of wrestling in Joshi since then? You know, we've had some amazing feuds through the years, but every time we go back to these 2, it's sensational. Every time we go back to these 2, it's special. And every time we go back to these 2, you remember it. Most years, this probably, probably can take my match of the year because of how much it meant and the physicality and everything that went behind it. And while it's just a smidge behind Mayu versus Io, it's still everything and more. This match, if you haven't watched it, go out of your way to watch it. It is Sareee at her best. She's been telling her story, right? Her and Hashimoto, she wanted to step up, try to win that world title in their big match, and now she comes up short. That's 4 championship matches she has lost this year. 4 major championship matches she's lost, I should say. and it starts to craft a 2026 that feels like will be a year of redemption for her. While there was so much success over this year and last, there's still the shortcomings in matches that excite you for what year 15, year 2026 looks like for Sareee. And for Hashimoto, it's just more of the same. This is one of the best wrestlers on the planet and has been for years and years and years and years. And she's going to continue to be that until further notice. This match is one of the best all year. It is one of the most lovely face-offs in Joshi wrestling, and it is the perfect, in many ways, I think, year-end signature bout for both of them. I know both Sareee and Hash will surely have big matches. Hash literally has one this weekend. Uh the rest of the way here in 2025, but this felt like the perfect end cap for both of them. And I hope that we don't have to go too much longer without them facing once again in 2026. I think we come back around to these two one way or another as we should. But this was fantastic, sensational, in the latest chapter in the Chihiro Hashimoto versus Sareee feud. That is one of the very best of the past 15 years. Now we head over to the Marigold Korakuen Hall show from this past Monday, the end of the Battle Heart 2025 tour. We are going to be talking about the last 4 matches from this card and all the news that came from it. I just watched the full show, but we'll talk about the 4 main matches and kind of everything that I really enjoyed about that. Starting with Mai Sakurai versus Naoya Ishikawa. This match rocked. This match rocked. I think when it was announced, it kind of went under the radar, but then they built it up. They put in some story. So much of the past month in Marigold, I think, has been really good because a lot of it post Grand Destiny has been building, right? In this case, it is building to Mai Sakurai's return, but at the same time, it is also building now Shikawa for a big singles match. The main event, which is ultimately Miku versus Chika, led to some of the best promo work we've seen in all of wrestling this year out of Chika Goto, and a story from Marigold that should not end here. A story from Marigold that may very well need to continue on, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. In terms of this match, this was a way to reestablish Mai Sakurai. And I don't know if there is a wrestler in the history of my fandom that I've done a bigger 180 on than Mai Sakurai. And it's all because of the work she's put in. It's all because of the work that she's done. It has nothing to do with anything else because what Mai Sakurai has done is evolve and evolve and evolve. You know, end of December, we'll have a Mai Sakurai video up talking about her growth over the last couple of years. Now that she has a world championship match set for First Stream, and again, we'll talk about that here in a second. But before that, we will have I'm putting together a video talking about her evolution and such. But I watch her in this match, and I just sit there thinking to myself, like, who could have imagined? Who could have imagined that Mai Sakurai not only would go on to become, United National Champion, white belt champion, whatever have you years ago. Who would have thought that she would be one of the very best? Like, I legitimately watch Mai Sakurai with so much excitement and so much passion for what she does because I think Mai Sakurai is the ultimate success story in Joshi these days. And she is someone who, if you watch her story, if you've witnessed her story, she is someone who should inspire others to want to do the same. If you're not happy in your role, if you're not happy doing what you're doing, then bet on yourself. Go somewhere else, right? Like, again, I bring this up every time I talk about Mai Sakurai, but especially off the Victoria Zuki match, which was sensational, you know. But coming off of that match, my Sakurai has reached levels never imaginable, and for people in other companies, you see the reaction that she got when she joined Marigold, right? It was like, oh, I talked about this in the Yuzuki video, but oh, Victoria Zuki's a huge get from Marigold. Oh, Tommy's a huge get from Marigold. Julie would be great when she's there. You know, Mirai's a great get from Marigold. Oh, and my Sakurai, yeah, she's a fine hand. Out of all those wrestlers I've just said, has anyone had a more impressive run in Marigold than Mai Sakurai? Truly, like month by month, match by match. I think when in terms of expectations, I should say, maybe Victoria Zuki, because you know her rise has been unbelievable. But other than that, like Mai Sakurai has exceeded any and all expectations, which were low and non-existent at times. But through the Twin Star run, through the United National Championship run, through her rivalry with Miku Aono, through her relationship with Mirai, through her match with Julia that seemingly woke her up, Mai Sakurai has become one of the very best. And I think when I watch her have a match with Naoya Ishikawa like this, I'm again reminded, holy, what a development, what a change in many ways. To think that she has reached this moment, to think she has reached this time, right? To have a match with someone like Naoya Ishikawa who has had her fans, many her fans wanting to see her pushed, and have this physicality match and have it in her return. It's awesome. It's awesome. This match was awesome. Now Ishikawa stepped up, said, I'm ready for anything. I'm ready for a bigger role. While Mai Sakurai said, I can be a world champion. Mai Sakurai went from good hand to potential world champion. That's where I see her now. United National titles behind her. Next up's the world title. Why not? You know, why not? And I think it's just been one of my favorite stories to follow as a Joshi fan, because she went from someone I didn't want anything to do with to someone that I can't wait for her matches now. And I can't wait to talk about Mai Sakurai further when I put that video together. But this match was so good. It was so good. And it was the perfect way to reestablish Mai Sakurai. So applause for both of them. Now Shikawa, Mai Sakurai, bravo. We then had the Superfly Championship match, Mayu Iwatani versus CoCo. Reason this happened when it did, because originally this felt billed as your main event. This match happened because CoCo can't wrestle past 8 o'clock. She's still very young. She's just 15 years of age, but she did step up for a Superfly Championship match against the icon Mayu Iwatani. And boy, oh boy, did she show out in her Korakuen Hall debut, I believe. CoCo's future, it's incredibly bright. CoCo's future includes whatever she wants it to be, because this is someone who is so uniquely different from everyone else. And if she is going to continue being a part of Marigold, she is so different from the rest of the young crop, right? You have the amateur wrestler in Sareee Yamaoka. You have the kind of all around do it all Victoria Zuki. You have the scrappy underdog babyface of Kazuna Tanaka. You have the high potential kick demon that is Shino. Um, You have the Mad Dog Brawler that is Yuka Yamazaki, right? Like the list goes on and on and on. No one flies through the air. No one dazzles through the air like CoCo. And that was showcased in this match. She hit the big dive to the outside. She played underdog. She went for her 450 on Mayu Iwatani. And these are the best matches for Mayu because she loves to play heel. She loves it. She loves it, and I do too. She loves to play a little nasty, a little dirty. Oh, you're gonna boo me out of the building? I'll laugh at that. That's fine. I don't care. You know, and she gets the best out of the opponent. She got the best out of CoCo here. This match was really good for just 8 minutes. Like, there is 8 minutes of action-packed stuff. You have your hope spot out of CoCo that speaks for itself, right? Getting getting to the point where she can go for the 450, and while she does crash and burn on multiple occasions, mind you, crash and burn on that, she crashed and burned on the moonsault. She walks out known, even more known. She walks out like, "Oh, this is a superb prospect." If your first time seeing CoCo was this match, which for many probably was, you are going to be one that is going to keep tabs on her. This match accomplished everything it set out to be. First, for Mayu, a successful title defense, but for CoCo, an establishment in a moment. That's what this was. A moment in her career, the first moment of CoCo's career that the majority of fans are going to know and going to remember. This is what the Superfly title should be while Mayu Iwatani has it. Face the youth, face these young wrestlers, and give them these matches that jump off the page. Give them these matches that you're going to remember. This was really fun. This was really fun, really strong, and Mayu pinned her with ease. Well, not maybe not with pure ease, but she pinned her. It was not too much of a worry. Hitting the dragon suplex, really good match, like I said. I recommend it. It's only 8 minutes too, so it's not going to take too much time. Go enjoy a little heelish Mayu Utani and a great performance out of CoCo. After the match, Mayu Utani did pick Hummingbird as her next Superfly Championship opponent, so that's fascinating, obviously. And then, of course, it was revealed Takumi Iroha made her way out to the ring, and the match that we knew was teased back at Monday Magic is now official. At first dream, we know it will be Mayu versus Takumi for the GHC Women's Championship. Mayu Iwatani had said all the way back at her introductory press conference for Marigold that she wants to win every championship in the promotion, and she also wanted to win the GHC Women's Champion. So Mayu Iwatani will have the chance to become the first ever woman to hold both the IWGP and GHC Women's Championships when she faces Takumi Iroha. And I will say this, there is not a combo that excites me more than what these two can do because I've seen it. I've seen what these two are capable of. And yes, while I think we live in a time when it comes to Takumi Roha where she's a very different wrestler, I'm also very aware that these two have some of my favorite matches ever. These two back in 2020 had my two top matches of the year, 1 and 2. This is gonna bring out the best of Takumi, it's gonna bring out the best in Mayu. Their history, their connection, their chemistry, it all speaks for themselves. First Stream has this, sign me up. First Stream has this match, it's gonna be sensational, it's gonna be special, it's gonna be whatever, it's gonna be one of the best matches to kick off 2026, one of the best matches in Joshi. I think it has the confidence, you know. You like to see those early possibilities for a match of the year type. I don't know how much of Takumi can go to that level, but based on her matches with a Sareee Yamaoka, based on her performances throughout her time in Marigold overall, I have all the confidence in the world this is going to be special. And that is a big first match stapled onto January the 3rd. But that's not all there. We'll have another one here at the end of the show, but let's continue this review. I can't wait for Mai versus Takumi. It's going to be awesome. We then had our Twin Star Championship match with Misa Matsui and Chiaki defending against Victoria Yuzuki and Sareee Amioka. So the young duo of Marigold's future teaming up and facing off with the new champions Misa Matsui and Chiaki, who won the belts back at Grand Destiny and have their first defense here. And the match kind of went as I expected. I think had I done a preview, I would have said, yeah, Misa Matsui pins Victoria Yuzuki, and that's how we get a title match. It's simple but perfect booking because I didn't want Misa and Chiaki to go, zero defenses. I didn't want that. I think for them, they are a great duo. And I think for them, they are a duo that works best together. Chiaki's done her best work alongside Misa Matsui. And that's why you put them against a combo like Victoria Yuzuki and Sareee Amioka. Obviously, on the surface, it's like, oh, they're going to get crushed by them. These two are the ones they're behind. But Victoria Yuzuki and Sareee Amioka aren't a tag team. They don't have the chemistry or the tag team knowledge or the relationship that's going to make this a lock. And that's the beauty of tag team wrestling. In tag team wrestling, anyone can lose, anyone can face a team. If you have a tag team that is more on the same page, more connected, like Misa and Chiaki, it's going to work. Victoria Yuzuki and Misa Matsui were sensational in this match against one another. Like, I've said sensational a lot. To the point where I'm very excited for their ultimate championship match that happens in Sapporo in a few weeks. But there was their chemistry we already knew about. We've seen it in the Superfly Championship match. But also it's a case of the United National Championship really being showcased in main event spots, which I'm cool with. Sareee Amioka in her spots, always fantastic, always great. I'm ready for her to get her teeth sunk back into something here very, very quickly. I think she's ready for a next step. And based on the post match moment for her, we know what's next for her, which is very exciting. But Misa Matsui, like I said, did pin Victoria Yuzuki to successfully defend the titles in a very solid tag team title match. That's the first defense for Chiaki and Matsui. And I'm looking forward to the match in Sapporo. I think that these two can have a really dynamic championship face off. I have no doubts about that because of their Superfly match. They're both better wrestlers, I think, especially Suzuki is since the last time they faced off with gold on the line. So that's going to be another big match for Yuzuki. We're going through this reign. That's going to be defense number 2. That's great to see. It's great to see. And then, of course, maybe we'll find out what lies ahead of her for first stream once she defends against Matsui. But it was in the post-match press conference that Senka Akatsuki went face-to-face with Sareee Amioka. And we learned very quickly that these two are destined to finally face off one-on-one. Finally, the match that we have been building to and building to all year long will indeed come true. The match will take place or is expected to take place at the Marvelous Korakuen Hall show in December. I believe they have one at the end of December. So a major, major, major match. One that I would love a preview tag the day before on the Marigold Korakuen. But these two have arguably the rivalry of the year. There, I said it. They arguably have the rivalry of the year. They have been awesome together. And when they finally face off, man, oh man, oh man, I have so much hope and so much excitement for what it's going to look like. Because I've said that they have the potential to really deliver one of the best rookie matches you could see ever. That's the type of rivalry this is. They scrapped, they fought. We have a direction, we have a time, we have a place. Let's get there. Let's keep building. Let's keep building. So nice to see something for Sareee Yamaoka. I'm fascinated to see what her first dream match is as well, because it'll be her anniversary. First stream will be her anniversary each and every year. And this will be her first anniversary match. There's some picks I would make, but we will see if they come true. But yeah, way to keep setting things up on this show. Couldn't couldn't praise that more than anything else. You know, setting things up and getting you excited for first stream, for Marvelous in ways, for Sapporo. That's what you love to see. So I'm very excited to see how that all plays out in time. But our main event was Miku Aono versus Chika Goto. Chika Goto spent so much effort trying to make this a world championship match. That didn't happen. Um, didn't happen. But she treated every minute of this match like it was. This build, everything about it, everything about the work put into this made it feel as big of a main event as it needed to be. Miku Aono is a sensational wrestler. Miku Aono is a perfect world champion for Marigold right now. That was my biggest takeaway, just watching her make her entrance with the world title at Korakuen Hall. It was a sense of, yeah, she shouldn't lose this title for at least a year. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, Miku Ano should have a 365-day plus world championship reign. And when you're doing things like this with Chika Goto, where it's not actually a world title match, but it feels like one, it's a great start. Chika Goto has put together some incredible promos in the build of this and trying to convince Miku to make it a world title match. And the reason I'm so happy they didn't is because why should Miku give it? You have to prove to me you're ready to challenge me for this world title. And I think that while she lost and while she suffered defeat, I think Chika Goto couldn't have done better. I I think there is a real case to be had of she almost needs to win one of the top 2 belts eventually, because it feels like out of everyone in Marigold since the very beginning, it feels like she is the one who has completely given her, like, and all these wrestlers give their life to pro wrestling and they do it great. But she is truly committed in a way I don't think anyone could have ever imagined. To make her this incredible babyface underdog despite being, you know, taller and more powerful in many ways than others. It it goes to a level of accomplishment I think that we don't see from really anyone else in wrestling. Like, who else is doing what Gochika is doing right now? No one, because I think truly it's just because it's Gochika. She's the one that makes it work. This match had so much fire, so much passion to it, so much excitement to it that you legitimately think the world title's on the line, I think, at points. And it's another case of Gochika, like, taking lemons and making lemonade, right? There's a real world right now where she is supposed to already have her first title, right? Have the twin star belts around her waist with Koki Amare, probably never get this match, never get the Sareee match. And instead, she has used all of that to get to this moment, big main event, crowd cheering her name, crowd wanting to see her succeed, get a world title match. It's what the best pro wrestlers do. and I think Go Chika is one of the best. Miku Aono is, like I said, fantastic and perfect in this role. Perfect in the role of I am the ace. I am your world champion, and you will prove yourself to me before you ever challenge for this belt. You will prove yourself to me and the world that you can be ready to challenge for this belt. And I think that's what Go Chika did. Like, that was the story of the match, is showing that passion, showing that fire, showing that heart that got her to this point, that got her to the dance per se, you know? And I think this is one of those matches that if you watch it in real time, you'll love it even more because there's so much nice near falls and moments where Kochika really looks like she's gonna pin Miku Ano. But at a certain point, Miku Ano proves that she's just too much. You know, Miku Ano may be small and maybe shorter than pretty much everyone on the roster, but she wrestles like she is a superstar small forward in basketball or something of the sorts. Like, she is your four hitter in baseball. She's probably more of your three hitter. She can hit for power. She can hit for contact. She got speed. She has everything. She has everything. And she showcases it in a match like this. There was the one scary point when she went up for the Styles Clash and they kind of both fell. It looked nasty, so I was happy they just changed over to the cloverleaf after that. Um, but that's what Mikuano is. I think the baseball, she is the three hitter shortstop stud that, you know, may not be the biggest on the field, biggest in the ring, but she has all the attributes, all the abilities, all the traits to be that. It's why every time I look at the landscape of professional wrestling, no one feels more belonging of the title they have around their waist right now more than Miku Ano. This is someone ready to be world champion. This is someone ready to lead as world champion. This is someone who is a fantastic world champion. This match was awesome. I loved every bit of it. I love everything that Go Chika gave to it. She made this match mean so much more than just a singles match. Miku Ano, in the match itself, sold it to perfection and said, all right, enough's enough. I'm not pinning you either. The idea was hit the Styles Clash, then make you tap out. I want to prove to you you're just not ready yet. But that's my point. In this title reign, we have to come back to this. Please, 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 please. Let Go Chika start to get momentum. Let Go Chika start to get big wins and get big moments to the point where this time next year, or maybe even in the Dream Star, right? You have them face off in the Dream Star and Go Chika pins her. It's like, now you will give me my world title match. That's actually exactly how I would do it. Now you will give me my world title match. Or her and Koki eventually win the tag belts and Miku Ano and someone challenge, right? And she pins her there. And now you'll give me you'll give me the world title match. All these routes, all these possibilities, I needed to get back to between these two because I think their story is far from over. Gochika's story is far from over. And I'm not saying Gochika should be winning the belt when she does. It's just a matter of getting that title match, getting that moment. That's somewhere down the line. I think that is a story beat I hope they go to. But Miku was awesome. Chika was awesome. An awesome main event. It was an awesome show, but there was no better way to cap it off than this right here. Yep. Yep. Like, you watch this whole show, there is not a world title match that makes more sense than this. Miku Ano, Mai Sakurai, Marigold First Dream 2026 Marigold World Championship. Mai Sakurai's first ever World Championship match. Who would have thought we got here? Who would have thought we got here? Year after Miku Ano, by the way, dropped the United National Championship to Mai Sakurai on that very show. We like the story bits that we are already telling within the Mai or the Miku Aono Mai Sakurai story. It is a story that might be the rivalry of Marigold thus far, in its run. It could have been Miku, Aono, and Mirai. It could have been. Maybe it should have been. But it's actually between these two. Miku Aono beating Mai Sakurai. That is the ultimate achievement for her. And she was so close. Oh, so close in that Dreamstar Grand Prix before that bell rang at 15 minutes. She has a few more minutes, a few more seconds, and maybe she does walk out with that win. So when we get to this match, oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. That potential of what these two have done, knowing what these two have done, where Mai Sakurai is in her career right now, where Miku Aono is in her career right now, I'm so happy we're going right to it. I really am. I really am. You could have waited till the anniversary show. No, no. Mai Sakurai still has momentum coming off that United National title reign. She instantly inserted herself into the picture today, or not today, but on this show with the Now Shikawa match. Now we just have, a month and a half of building this up to feel as big and major as I think it will and should. And honestly, probably already does feel because of their history. But you see that belt, you see these two. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Fantastic. Awesome 2 Korakuen shows that I got to review here today. This weekend, plenty of stuff. The Miku Mai Sakurai preview stuff kicks off, so definitely check that out. They'll be on the Marigold shows when those get up. What else? Oh, Hashimoto and you. They'll defend the belt against FWC this Saturday at the Sendai Pit. So maybe FWC wins themselves some gold. Wouldn't be against that. The Tag League rolls on in Stardom. I think it's actually Miku Aono and Now Shikawa versus Mai Sakurai and Chika Goto as one of the preview matches. And based on this show, boy, that sounds pretty great to me. What else do we have this weekend in the Joshi verse that maybe we could talk about next week? Let me go to the calendar. All right, so this coming weekend, besides the stuff I've named, so like I said, we're going to continue the Tag League. So Sendai Girls is in Fukuoka for those. So FWC challenging for the tag belt in Fukuoka, obviously very special every single time. Oz Academy has a Korakuen Hall show as well. Sendai is on a back-to-back this weekend. 3 shows for them. 3 shows for Marigold. Is that 3 for Stardom as well? 3 for Stardom as well. So lots of action. Nothing major in terms of Sendai, or sorry, in terms of Marigold or Stardom, just continuation, but intrigued by everything going on. Like I said, I'll be back next week with content as always. Let me check the content calendar. What do we have coming up on the content calendar? You'd think I could get there quicker, but I can't because my computer decided to be slow. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got coming up down the pipeline. We'll do a tag league final review somewhere soon. That'll be next weekend. I'll get a review out for that. Hopefully, a future of Joshi in the next couple days. I won't have too much content in terms of the next week. So that means maybe a Joshi weekly, maybe a future of Joshi, maybe a new series thing if I can find someone and jump on and record with them. So just keep an eye out. Follow the Twitter, at Scott E Wrestling. Follow the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube, and comment. What were your thoughts on both the Sendai Girls and Marigold Korakuen Hall shows from this past weekend? Leave those comments below. I'll give them a read. I'm getting back into the swing of things full force, so I will be giving those comments a read. I'll be replying and reading them and liking them and so on and so forth. So please drop below and make sure you press that like button. It does us a lot of good as well. Thank you everyone for listening. And until next time, so long. See you later. Bye bye.